It's Madden NFL 23 on EA Sports, and we'll be watching Terry McLaurin. He's been torching secondaries all season, now closing in on 1,200 yards. It's the Commanders and the Lions, next on Madden NFL 23.
First opened in 2002, there's a look inside Ford Field here in downtown Detroit, the Motor City. Today, it's the penultimate week of the regular season, week 16, and we've got a good one in store between the Washington Commanders and the Detroit Lions. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and Charles, we look at this Lions team entering play. And they've lost 3 straight here, and it goes without saying, I guess, they could certainly use a win.
And how do they get a win? Because they've lost 3 straight, I think it's paramount that they get a fast, clean start to this game.
But meanwhile, for the visiting Commanders, they were winners last time out, so they'll be looking, Charles, to make it 2 in a row.
And what I enjoyed when I watched their game tape and their victory last week is they put it together in every phase. Good offense, good defense, and some key plays on special teams. Let's see if they can get that second win in a row.
The holiday season is upon us. We've got the gift of the NFL as we're underway here in Week 16. And no run back here, so they'll bring it out to the 25. So here are the Lions now coming out for their opening drive. And they will be led out by their second-year quarterback.
And last week's loss came despite a clean game on his end, throwing the ball with 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. His job this week is simple. Do it again. Continue to avoid turnovers and hope that what sunk them last week resolves itself this time around.
To throw is Gonzalez on 1st and 10. And that's to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. 17 yards on the game's opening play and a quick first down. Off the option, he'll try and run with it. And right away, he lost the football. And it's Washington that scoops it up. And they will set up shop in enemy territory at the 42-yard line. And without a doubt, not the way they pictured that opening drive unfolding.
No, they were making progress. They weren't exactly in high gear, but they were making a few yards along the way. And now that they've coughed it up, you got to go back to the sidelines and regroup a little bit.
So here's Washington now in excellent field position to start things out. And a look here now at their 4th-year quarterback.
And I thought it was a really nice performance last week by him. 3 touchdown passes. I think that signifies exactly what he was getting done. He did have the 1 interception.
But that's the ratio you say you're okay with, right?
If you go 3-to-1, you're going to be pretty happy over the course of the season. And let's face it, he'll never blame the receiver publicly. But behind closed doors, he probably told his agent, hey, what's the deal? I should have had a perfect game.
Touchdown! Terry McLaurin, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Commanders use the early turnover to get on the board first here in this one.
Well, that's how you take advantage of an early turnover. A sudden change situation, meaning ball's turned over. How's both sides going to handle it? One side handled it way better. They went right out on the field and put the ball in the end zone.
One play, that just added insult to injury.
Yeah, that just tells you on the defensive side, they didn't come out ready to go, still reeling from the fact that the ball got turned over.
Extra point splits the uprights, and it's now a 7-0 game. So look at this. They got the 7-0 lead in the pocket, and they're going to try an onside kick. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. Washington kick team back out there now as they will send this one away. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. Back onto the field come the Lions for their 2nd overall drive. You know, Charles, season winding down, time to maybe look ahead to the offseason. What do you see these guys going after either in the draft or free agency?
Well, with the season that they're having, just about every position is up for grabs right now. No one is really safe, but the focal point's always the quarterback position. And he may be auditioning to try and stay with his own current team. I think he's auditioning for the rest of the league to try and find the spot because I think this team is looking for a new quarterback.
And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 37-yard line. Looking at a 2nd and 11 now after the loss. First carry for DeAndre Swift. And a 6-yard gain gets him right around the 43.
Holding offense.
That's on the tackle, Penei Sewell. They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. Back to throw. Gonzalez. That's caught by his tight end, Gerald Everett. Call it a gain of 12, but of course not a first down due to the previous penalty. They'll be in search of 8 yards here as they hope to convert the first down. Now Gonzalez on 3rd down. They'll try and set up the screen to Swift. And he can only manage to take the football to the 40, and that is well shy of the first down marker. On 4th down, Jack Fox on to punt for Detroit. They punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. It's a 46-yard punt, 2 on the return. And the Commanders will take over, but backed up deep in their own territory. Out comes the Washington offense as we get a look at the playoff race in the NFC. Well, with 3 weeks left, they are in one of those 3 wild card spots, Charles, but that spot is not clinched, and there's not a ton of breathing room for them, so the bottom line, they just need to focus on winning right now.
Yeah, they totally have their eyes open, don't they? They know they've got teams trying to run them down. They can hear their footsteps. The question coaches ask guys in the locker room, do you have another gear left to pull away and lock in that playoff spot? If so, let's hit it.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Back to Robinson now on 1st down. Running right through him. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. The numbers in last week's ball game for Robinson. 12 carries, 83 yards, and a touchdown.
Nice solid showing from him last week. Didn't blow the roof off with his numbers, but certainly had a quality day and produced when called upon.
2nd down and a run by Robinson. And so there he goes left side. Touchdown, Washington. Another impressive drive, so they're 2 for 2, 2 touchdowns. Charles, a great start to this ball game for them.
And one of the words that's really worked its way into our lexicon is stacking. They've stacked momentum each time out, and not only on offense. Between those touchdowns, defense held, forced to punt to get the ball back, and they played awfully well in this one. Both sides playing at optimum level.
Now for the point after. And it's good, and they have jumped out here to a quick 14-0 first quarter lead. The drive there only spanning 3 plays. And it was capped off by the touchdown run for Brian Robinson. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at the 25. And Detroit getting set to go now. They find themselves in a good-sized hole here, and a good-sized hole early on in this game as they come up on 1st down. Throwing to start the drive. Gonzalez. And that'll be caught. It's St. Brown. And he'll be taken down here just shy of the 30.
When they've needed a play this year, he's certainly been the guy to deliver it. As this season has gone on, he's been awfully consistent and sometimes spectacular.
On 1st and 10, it's Swift. And he struggles to get a yard here, maybe a yard, down to the 31. These are his numbers from last week's contest. 15 carries, 68 yards, and a touchdown.
They've lost a bunch of games in a row now. They've got to start thinking a little bit differently, maybe a little bit outside of the box. Find other ways to move the football. I don't know if you're going to do it through the air or maybe change up how you establish your run game.
Now a man open down the middle of the field. And he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line. So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down. On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. And he's left with no option here but to throw it away.
Tight defense there on 3rd down, but what a product of good coaching and even better execution, because he realized he's in field goal range. No sense forcing anything, and he made sure he didn't.
And his kick is good. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. So that kick gives them their first points of the game, CD. And it comes on the 3rd drive, but hopefully for them that's a spark that gets that offense going.
Yeah, and I would say if you're the offensive play caller, as you look at your sheet, you're trying to find that part on there that unlocks bigger points. They've struggled with a few drives so far. Finally got 3 out of it. How do you find the end zone? That's what he's searching for now.
Brian Robinson Jr. making his way back onto the field. And he's closing in on that number that all running backs circled beginning of the year, the number 1,000. Could do it on this drive.
And you have to think to yourself that this moment, getting to this spot, it started in the offseason, right? Not just the workouts, right? Not just getting yourself physically prepared to play, but mentally, as well as your team, as well as your unit, head coach, offensive coordinator. We run the football. We give you opportunities. He's taking advantage of it.
And when you get this close to the mark, you just hope things don't tighten up, right? You probably want to get there and get it in your rearview mirror.
You really do, don't you? Because now it becomes predominant, and you wonder about play calling as well. Do you want to call plays to get that out of the way, or are you still calling plays to win the game first? That becomes the burden of the play caller.
The Washington with the football here to begin quarter number 2, as they've got it with a 1st and 10. On 1st and 10, it's Robinson. And he is into the end zone for a Washington touchdown. Brian Robinson Jr. with his 6th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Commanders are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. CD, that's his 2nd touchdown already. And how about this offense? 3 drives, 3 touchdowns.
An absolute total team effort right now. And let's face it, I don't think he's done. We're still in the first half. There's a lot of time left to go. I don't know what they're going to do on the other side trying to slow him down. But right now, he's feeling it.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And no thought to bring this one out. He'll just go down to a knee, and they'll take over at the 25. Detroit's offense ready to take over. And this, let's face it, an important drive if they're going to get back into this ballgame.
Think about going into the locker room down 21-10 as opposed to 21-3. 21-10, a little more optimism, a little more bounce around the locker room, a little more discussion about how they're going to finish this thing off. 21-3, I think discouragement clouds that locker room.
Yeah, and I think a touchdown much bigger than a field goal on this drive just to get into the end zone and get that momentum. They'll find Everett there, complete. 50 catches for him now on the year, and he's got a 1st down. Operating from the gun, Gonzalez. And that nearly a turnover, but it's incomplete. Well, fortunate to retain possession there, and it's 2nd down. On 2nd down, Swift. And not much room to speak of. He'll get about 3 up to the 41. And 6 DBs on the field for Washington on 3rd down. Out of the gun, they'll look to throw. And that is incomplete. Oh, he had a defender right there with him to force that to the ground. And 4th down now coming up. And here now the punter Fox as he sends this one away. And this will be taken at the 13. Now a hit and a loose loose football. And his guys will take over at the 30-yard line. And while all of that was going on, we have an injured player out there in need of some attention. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. From the shotgun now, here's an inside give. And he stopped right at the 25 after a gain of 5.
But they certainly got dented with that first down run. So now they've got to be back on their heels a little bit as a defense.
Gonzalez now off the play fake. He'll drop this one off to Swift.
That might feel like a little bit of a lost opportunity there for the offense because the defense brought pressure that time. And sometimes against that, you can get out to your running back, and it can turn into a big gain downfield. But what a nice job they did getting to him quickly and holding him to a short gain.
He's got this complete to Williams. And he is going to have a Lions first down as he'll be marked down a yard or two past the marker following a gain of 6. And they go the wrong way here. Knocked back to the 20. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
Now they contend with a 2nd and 12 after the loss. They run out of the gun with Swift. And he'll wind up picking up about 4 as that is going to bring us to the 2-minute warning.
Holding offense.
Jonah Jackson, former 3rd-round pick, the guilty party. Gonzalez to throw on 2nd down. And in for the Lions touchdown. Wandale Robinson, 27 yards. And the Lions are able to cut into that deficit. Extra point right down the middle. And it makes the score 21-10. The drive summary that time, 5 plays. And it was finished up by a touchdown catch from Wandale Robinson. And this is going to be returned from the middle of the end zone. And he's going to get this across the 20 as he's out of bounds at the 23. Set to go again. Here's Brian Robinson, the Commander offense. He's already cruised past the 100-yard mark. We haven't even gone away for halftime yet.
He might not want halftime. All right, why cool off?
Keep everybody here.
Let's stay out on the field and keep going. But all that being said, everything is really working well for them. The play calling's been excellent. The blocking's been terrific. And obviously his vision and legs have hurdled him to this big number so far. We could be seeing something really special here.
And we'll see how much they give him the ball here. They take a shot downfield there, but it winds up falling incomplete. Once again, they'll go from the 23-yard line on 2nd and 10. 2nd down, Howell back to pass. And the Lions pressure too strong. Down he goes. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. A tall task ahead of them here, needing a full 15 yards to move the chains. Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And this is incomplete. Oh, he looked like he had a pretty good line on that one. That would have been a big play, but he could not pull it in. The punt team on now as Pinion sends this one away. That'll be a 43-yard punt, just a single yard on the return. And the Lions will take over. And Detroit back in possession of the football. Right now, Charles, it just feels like they're trying to keep pace. They did score the touchdown last time out, but they still trail by double digits here. We'll see if this offense is once again up to the task.
Yeah, and I think that after the last drive, they've got to be pretty revved up, don't you think? Everything they were doing was working pretty well. They go back out there with the same mindset, playing the same tempo and the same pace. Still a lot of time left to make something happen in this one.
And that'll be good for 8 yards to the 45. Finding Williams once more, complete. And he is going to have a Lions first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. The Lions now going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Throwing on first down, but this one winds up to be incomplete. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Back to throw again. Got his man. It's Williams. And he'll be marked down at about the 26-yard line.
Good strong throw and catch right there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. Touchdown! Devin Duvernay, 26 yards. And the Lions get a late score here in the final minute of the first half. Point after, right down the middle. And it's now 21-17. So the drive there took 6 plays. And the end result, a Detroit touchdown. From a yard or two deep, here comes a return. Now a crease here as he's past the 30. And pretty good field position here. He's out of bounds right at the 35. A little too much extracurricular there.
When you have a game with a lot of contact, tensions are going to run pretty high. You're going to be emotional, but you have to harness it somehow, and he didn't on that play.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. And a dangerous throw there, incomplete. He threw that into coverage. It was nearly intercepted. Powell, another throw on second down. And that's going to be incomplete. 12 seconds left. So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Powell throwing on third down here. Got this complete to Jahan Dotson. And almost, but not quite. Needed 10, he got 9. 4th down. And this offense going to elect to burn a timeout with 5 seconds remaining in quarter number 2. And I tell you what, he got it from 58. That had lots of leg behind it. So we have reached halftime with a touchdown. That's the difference on the scoreboard. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. The weather might be cold, but the playoff races are heating up here on this final Sunday before Christmas. So let's get to it. We'll start over in Texas at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. And that game is tied 10-all in the second quarter. From there, let's head over to Highmark Stadium to check out what's happening with the Bills. And right now, they have the lead over the visiting Dolphins. Josh Allen has thrown 2 touchdown passes. Lastly, let's get to the Windy City. See what's happening with the Bears at home at Soldier Field. And that game all tied up as they host the visiting Giants. On now to a look at the next-gen stats in that first half for Washington. And even though they've got a halftime lead, they're likely devising ways as we speak to try and get a little more production from their passing game. Meanwhile, for the Lions, they were even better throwing the football. Lots of open receivers to choose from, and you can bet that'll continue to be a focus in the second half. With both of these offenses having their way, it's not likely they'll need to be doing a whole lot at halftime. But the defenses are definitely in need of some adjusting. And for the call of the second half, let's go back out to Brandon and Charles.
Yeah, Coach, certainly no shortage of action in those first 2 quarters. Definitely got to work on my touchdown calls, so we'll see how much voice I have left for the second half here. And beyond the 20, but not by much. In fact, just a yard pass there to the 21. Here come the Commanders for the first possession of the third quarter. But Charles, for them, pretty good first half on the ground. They had some success running the ball in quarters 1 and 2, and they've got the lead. Now a chance to expand upon that lead here with their first drive in the third quarter.
Yeah, believe it or not, you and I have noticed that this great game of football has shifted towards pass first, run second. So for me, it's really nice to see some of these teams keeping the ground game as a big component of their offense. offense, and it's working pretty well for them now. And let's face it, they can continue to do damage with it. And in addition, it sets up the pass game really well for them, too.
And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line. Al now to throw it. Throwing middle, and it's complete. And he's going to have a Commander's first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
I'll tell you what, a lot of those mid-range throws have been available because sometimes teams get too concerned about the deep ball and they leave too much space in front of them. And these guys have been taking advantage so far.
Powell's throw into the hands of Turner. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. They get 10 more there, and I believe that'll be enough for another first down at will.
And what a nice example there of a tight end doing exactly what he needs to do. How about how he worked his way to the outside, made sure he secured the catch, and then anything after that, we count that as a bonus. And indeed, he gets enough for the first down.
So after the loss of a yard, they'll look to push forward here on second down and 11. Now he'll look to throw it. And he slings one that's incomplete.
The coverage keyed in on him since that last completion his way. He earned a little more attention on that route, and that made it a lot tougher to get a clean throw his way.
Powell slings this deep for McLaurin. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up fourth down. Here's Bradley Pinion now as he'll kick it away for the second time. And a great job here. This is going to turn out to be a beauty. This is marked down at about the 3-yard line.
That punt was near perfection as it checked up inside the 5-yard line. You never know where these things are going to go, do you?
No, what was it? You got a John Heisman quote about that, right?
Yeah, he said the football is roughly a prolate spheroid, which means it's going to bounce funny, and you never know where it's going to end up.
On the ground, it's Swift to start the drive. Knifes his way forward here, but just 3 yards on the play. Second down.
I have to think a major focus of the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secured before they slide off and try and chip someone at the second level.
Gonzalez to throw on third down. That's complete to the tight end, Everett. And he is going to have a Lions first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. So still backed up, but the situation not as dire now. First and 10 at the 14. Looking to throw. Gonzalez in trouble here, and down he goes. Back at the 8-yard line. The corner blitz gets there as he goes down for a loss of 7. Now, the number one mission of any offensive line, you got to protect that quarterback, keep him safe back there. This time, the rush got to him in a hurry. On the option to give to Swift here. And he'll take this one up to about the 13. 5 yards gets him back near the original line of scrimmage as he'll be left with a third and long. Backed up here, tough spot, needing 11 yards to pick up the first. Gonzalez now on third down. Open man is Duvernay. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. He had the touchdown earlier. This one's going to get him a first down. They will run straight ahead with Swift. And he'll take this ahead for about 4. Second down coming up. And give him 4 yards there. It'll be second and 6. And they're not going to get to the line to run another play. So we will switch ends as the third quarter has come to a close. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now at Ford Field. It's the Lions trailing, but with possession of the football as we get set to bring you the fourth quarter. Now Gonzalez looking to throw on second down. And this one nearly intercepted. Boy, that would have been a great time for their first pick. But instead, it's third down. On third down, Gonzalez. And able to catch it on the left sideline, but they're going to rule him out of bounds. So it'll be incomplete. Certainly one they'd like to have back as it brings up fourth down. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. This is taken at the 18. Call that a 44-yard punt, 5 on the return. And it will be Washington football now with a 1st and 10. As the Commanders make their way out on offense, let's take a peek at the playoff picture in the NFC. And for them right now, not a done deal. They are holding down one of the final 3 wildcard spots with 2 weeks to go. But, you know, there are others, Charles, kind of nipping at their heels a bit.
And, Brandon, it's always worth keeping in mind, and I have to keep writing it down for my... It's 7 teams in each conference now making the playoffs. So that brings more important games to the end of the season. So in theory, more teams alive for a postseason berth later in the year.
7 yards there and a 1st down. I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
Al throwing on 1st down here. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect. So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Now a give right side. McDonald. And now the ball's out. Fumble near midfield. And this is scooped up by the Lions. And his guys will set up shop at midfield at the 50-yard line.
Well, that takeaway, partner. Right.
And now before the ball changes hands, they're going to take a look at this just to make sure that they have it right. Now the question, was the knee in fact down before this ball comes loose? And is the video convincing enough to overturn it?
A lot of factors here. Remember, you also need clear possession of football afterwards. This is a tough one to overturn.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
So that one overturned. They say the knee was down, and that will not be ruled a fumble. They'll run on 1st down. It's McDonald, and they'll get him down here at about the 42. It's a 7-yard carry to... Second and 3. Oh, he's got a little daylight. Oh, and that one well designed as he'll take this down to the 30-yard line. It's a pickup of 12 and a Commander's 1st down. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down. Now the objective there, I mean, yes, the positive gain, that's nice, but work some clock.
Yeah, you're exactly right, but the problem for them is still within a possession, so they can't just sit on it running the ball. They'll have to find a way to throw it effectively as well.
Down right around the 25. Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a 1-score game. So it's Washington with the football here as we welcome you back. They're facing a critical 3rd down now as they try to hold on to this lead. They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. From the gun on 3rd down, Howell. And that nearly the pick that they needed. He couldn't pull it in, though, and it's 4th down. Throwing the football, he's not as sharp as he was last week when he was over 70%. Right now, he's under 50%.
So that comes from extra game film, extra time. You know those guys watched him all week, saw how precise he was, and constructed a defense to try and chip away at that, and thus far they've been successful.
So that one, CD, going to make the road back a lot more difficult.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. You know they were praying on the other sideline for a miss because now, as you pointed out, a very difficult road. Down 2 scores. You don't just need a touchdown. You need a chain of events to go your way. You've got to score, somehow get the ball back, and score again. The odds of that happening, not great in your favor.
Here's Gonzalez throwing on first down. And that's good for a pickup of 10 yards. And they'll be left with a second and about a foot. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. 17 yards is the pickup there for number 17. To throw is Gonzalez on first down. This one hauled in, and again it's Robinson. And he'll be brought down just shy of the 40. They'll look to throw again. It's caught on the right side. Williams. And they're going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at Washington's 24-yard line. And that will be caught, but out of bounds. Out of bounds, ruled incomplete here.
Limited time left on the clock after that incompletion, so I think both sides are going to savor every second to prepare before the next snap. Because once the ball's in motion, it may be a non-stop.
And this is intercepted, and that should do it. And the Commanders force the turnover. They'll take over at their own 27. CD, I know it's just his second year in the league as a quarterback, but that's going to be one when he flips on the tape. He's like, I shouldn't have thrown that ball.
No doubt about it, and his coaching staff will be emphatic about he shouldn't have thrown that ball. But remember, second year, as you noted, on-the-job training, so he's got to take this feedback that he's getting, negative or otherwise, and turn it into positives moving forward.
Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete. So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. A handoff as they run the counter play. The Lions will use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 35 seconds left to go. And the Lions going with an extra DB here on 3rd down. Throwing here, Howell. And he finds McLaurin. And they're going to get this down to about the 17-yard line here. Now a second timeout called for by the defense. That'll leave them with just one remaining in this 4th quarter of play. Now it looks like he'll throw here. Toward the back corner of the end zone, but he could not get the feet down. This will wind up incomplete.
As a coaching staff, you can call just about whatever you want because you understand you have guys who reliably take away those massive shots downfield. You're not as worried about giving up the big one.
Now a second down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. What a difference a week makes. Last week he hit on over 80% of his passes. This week he's down under 50%. What do you see as the difference?
Well, I think we're used to seeing a drop. If someone's over 80%, they're not going to hold that number, not in this league. But a drop under 50%, that just tells me that the defense has spent a lot of extra time on game films and came up with a really good plan to try and chip it.
And he'll try and throw here on the fake. Pass complete, now race for the marker. And they're able to pick up the first and keep possession. And we will get a timeout with 2 ticks left. Well, they probably don't need to run a play here, but you wonder if they're going to be able to resist on 1st and goal. Again, he'll drop to throw. losing yardage to the 10-yard line. So it's Washington getting the victory here. And it was their defense that really made the statement after the break. They pitched the second half shutout.
Yeah, think about the team that just got vanquished. They did score in the second quarter. Do you think they thought at all that that would be their last points of the game?
No, but what a second half. The adjustment, whatever they did in the locker room, it certainly worked.
It certainly did, and you're exactly right. Whether it was an adjustment, whether it was just more focus on what they planned to do going in, whether they just played better, whatever it was, it all came together in the second half, and no points were allowed. That's a great way to close them out.
So for Washington, it's a critical win for them as it gets them to 9-6 on the year. And they'll get another road test next week as they have to go to Lambeau to take on the Packers. Meanwhile, for the